So it's basically a mom who works 24 hours a day and also works for a business and kids and around the clock.
And is basically just struggling to survive.
So honestly, it was my second pregnancy when somebody came to me and they were like, I have a box of vitamins. Do you want them? Because this is of no use to me. And those vitamins are like 9,000 rupees now. So I said, sure.
So it's a very unique business model.
So today on we have a very special episode of Freestyling. I've got two people with me and we're going to dive right into it. Two people with me who are friends and also are really cool mompreneurs. We'll get into what a mompreneur actually is. But before that, we've got Bushra and Aminah here who are the faces behind Mama's Marketplace. Hi guys.
Hi.
So tell me a little bit about what a mompreneur is.
So it's basically a mom who works 24 hours a day and also works for a business and kids and around the clock.
And is basically just struggling to survive.
So
And make a buck.
So you guys, it's a difficult thing, you know, balancing work, balancing kids, balancing also your own lives, self-care. There's a lot that goes into it. On an average, before we get into what it is you guys do, I just wanted to ask, how many hours in a day do you guys divide up your days? Do you guys like just free flow through it? Like what happens?
I mean, I wish we could divide up our days, but it doesn't work like that because it's like I'm sitting on my laptop. I'm like, okay, I'll take an hour out. But, you know, somebody's going to come knocking on the door or like there's time to pick up. So it's just like, I think it's free flowing through the day and night.
Yeah.
For me, at least, like,
Yeah, I think we try to squeeze in work wherever we can. So for now, at least my two boys are in school. So I have those 3 hours in the morning, which are free. And then during the day, because it's all online, so, and like, you know, phones are always in our hands. So we actually pretty much end up working round the clock till we sleep, as much as we would like to balance it a bit more, but it just ends up happening.
Yeah.
So there's no like structure there in the sense that there's no like guidebook telling you that, okay, if you can, this is how you structure your day out or whatever.
I mean, we try to, but no.
And even if you do structure, things obviously with kids
Pop up, you know,
it
kid falls sick or like there's a play date or there's a birthday you have to take the kid to. So you have to obviously take all those things into account.
Okay, so we're going to get into this a little bit more, but before that, you guys run a business together, right? You're also friends, you run a business together. What was that? Let's talk a little bit about that aha moment where you woke up and you were like, this is the business that we want to do and this is what we're starting and we're just going to dive right into it.
So honestly, it was my second pregnancy when somebody came to me and they were like, I have a box of vitamins. Do you want them? Because this is of no use to me. And those vitamins are like 9,000 rupees now. So I said, sure. And I took them and then I was like, you know, how about you sell them? And she's like, but where do I sell them? And I'm like, wait for a little bit longer. And then I told Amna, I'm like, listen, I want to do a business, but I don't think I can do it without you because I can't do finance. So she was like, no, you do it. I was like, no, please just do it with me and you do finance and I'll do everything else.
Right.
And then we thought about it and I think it took like about 3-4 months to figure out the structure. And then we were like, you know what? Thrifting is cool. Thrifting is sustainability.
So tell me a little bit more about Mama's Marketplace. Okay, so you, it's basically you guys started on Instagram, right?
Yes, we did.
Right, and then what? Like you made a page, and then what was the whole idea behind it?
I think we actually had a website from the beginning because we discussed the idea for a bit, and then we took out the time to make our website because we wanted it to look, you know, proper and everything. So that's how it started. And before we knew it, it actually became a lot bigger than we expected it to.
Yeah. The thing was, I think it was more like because it was anonymous.
Yeah.
So people were comfortable selling even clothes, diapers, anything, right? Like anything to do with baby and mom. And like things have become really expensive, and people in with the sustainability and teaching the kids also that, recycling, reusing, rehoming. So, it picked up really fast. It grew out of our hands, to be honest, and out of our homes. So we have an office space now, and, onwards and upwards. Hopefully we'll have a shop soon.
Inshallah.
Before the office space, what were you guys? How were you handling it?
So we
Working
always
everywhere.
had, but we always had like an office space in my house
home,
also. And that's honestly convenient again because of the kids.
Yeah.
Because my kids are obviously at home, and then Bushra can also always bring her kids, and then they're around, and when we don't have to worry about where they are or who's with them, they're around. So that's how we basically started.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, it's smart to like start off with being in a comfortable space and like having your own space, and then a couple of hours a day you guys spend on working on these things. But as the business grows, so what categories do you have within Mama's Marketplace? Just for the sake of like all the other mamas out there watching this, who've never actually heard about Mama's
So
Marketplace.
Mamas, we have everything. We have clothing, we have baby gear from strollers, car seats, diapers, clothes, furniture, toys.
So I know for a fact that one of my friends in Lahore, and I'd messaged you about this, one of my friends had called me up one day and been like, there's this thing in Karachi, it's called Mama's Marketplace, and I've seen it, and do you know who they are? And I'm like, yes, I do know who they are. And she's like, oh, I wanted to put this thing, and I had questions, and I was like, yeah, no problem, I'll connect you. But for the sake of like everyone else out there who never heard of you, give them like a little bit of a breakdown of what it is that you're like, what is Mama's Marketplace?
So it's a reselling page essentially. That's what it is. We don't take anybody's items till they've been sold. So if you want to, for example, sell something, you will reach out to us via Instagram or phone or WhatsApp. And then we will ask you for pictures, very, very detailed pictures of everything, the condition, how long it's been used for, and then the price you want to retail it at. And then we take a 20% commission of whatever the retail price is. And then we list it on our Instagram and website. And once it's been sold, then we will reach out to you, ask you to send it over to us, and we will obviously check it thoroughly before sending it out to the buyer.
So you're basically the liaison, but you're also making sure that the quality is up to the mark, right? Because it's items that are, I mean, there's a term that everybody's using these days, preloved.
Preloved.
And it's a term that, like, for those who don't know what preloved is, explain it to them a little bit.
Me?
Yeah, go for it.
Preloved is basically something that you've owned before and you're giving it a new home. So with kids and babies items especially, and even moms for that matter, like feeding moms or, like postpartum moms or like pregnancy, like they're very short-lived. And some of them you don't end up using. So they're actually not used before. So they're not pre-loved, they're just pre-owned. So we have both of these items in stock. So it's like, it's items that are pre-loved, which they've been used and pre-owned.
So like, for example, like I buy a baby gift for somebody, but I realize that it's the wrong size or whatever. I've never used it. It's literally in the packet, never been touched, lying in the back of my cupboard. I can totally come on your website and put it up.
Yeah, so also I feel like a lot of people have started using us for gifting because there are a lot of parents who either overbuy or are gifted a lot of things and then they're of no use to them. So they send us their brand new items, which are perfectly okay to gift. And then they are obviously always at a lower retail price than their actual retail price. So it's like great for gifting because you can get all these brands from abroad at a much, much cheaper price.
Right.
And they're all tagged.
Cool.
Yeah. And even brands for less, right? Like, I mean, their brands are like just doesn't mean luxury brands here. It's also the comfort and the security and the safety of the baby. So you can have that in a lesser price
Tell me about it. I've been trying to buy gifts. I mean, this is a great idea. I've been trying to buy gifts for like all my friends' kids and all my I'm always like asking everyone because I don't have kids myself, so I don't know how much goes into it but I do know from all the kids around me how expensive it is when you have kids. My God.
It's a lot of waste also.
It's a lot of
waste.
waste.
Like kids grow out so soon, even of clothes and
Yeah,
shoes
exactly.
And it's also like a lot of the items like
Bulky.
jumperoos and bouncers, they only last like 2 to 3 months and then your kid outgrows it and they occupy so much space. So it's not just that, oh, like a lot of people are wanting to retail them only because they want to get rid of them. They don't
Right.
even care about the money they're going to get from it. They just want it out of their houses, you know.
Right.
So that's also
Brilliant
the thing.
idea that it came out of you yourself
vitamin
also
box.
thinking about a vitamin box. That's a great
And
origin
like really
story.
just sitting at home and making some money and some like space and contributing to the environment, you know.
Yeah.
So it was really
So that's another thing. Sustainability, eco-friendliness,
Yes.
all of this also comes into
Yeah.
the thing, right?
Yeah.
It's all
It's a big part
packaged
of it,
into,
yeah.
it's a big part of it. So were you guys conscious of this when you first started off? Or is it something that like along the way you learned that, okay, no, this is how we should be talking about these elements of it as well?
To be honest, we were aware of it,
Yeah.
but when I thought about it, I did a lot of research. And that's where it showed me the amount of baby clothes that can be like, if we recycle them, we save them for 7 years. So, like, you know, statistics like this, I didn't know that. So we got into it along the way also, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, like these big plastic houses, which, you know, just go to waste.
So in the US, I was also doing research
Yeah.
right before this because I was like, I really want to get into the whole like where this whole culture of using preloved
Thrifting,
and
yeah.
on thrifting and,
Yeah.
and there are lots of different
Yeah.
terms for it, where this culture started from.
Yeah.
And it goes way back. Like it's not just limited to just kids stuff
Yeah.
or just any
Yeah.
item, accessory or whatever. But even like, for example, like in our culture, you had mums who would hand down their shadi jodas to their
Yeah.
daughters. It's
Yeah.
the same concept.
exactly.
So when people normally, when they hear pre-loved, they're like, oh, that's another word for second hand, and that's how they're just marketing it. But actually, no,
Yeah.
not really, right?
It's a lot of, sentiments,
Have you
especially when
guys
it comes to
ever-
kids. Huh?
Have you guys ever had like people come up to you and say this though, like, oh, you're just reselling like second hand
Like used
stuff?
item,
Oh.
it's so expensive. It's just
Yeah.
a used item. It's just a used item. But I think eventually when they go out to shop or they go out to buy that, they realize that, we're getting the same brand. And again, brand isn't just luxury, the brand. It's also, of course, the safety, security, comfort, everything that comes. They realize that it's a good option. And before, like, I guess me and Amna decided, we're like, okay, like, we know these are the people who will never buy and sell.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because those are the people who are buying and selling, and it's all anonymous. So I think that consciousness that a
Yeah.
customer has,
So it's anonymous for all of us.
yes, it is.
Not
Yeah,
for you guys.
Yeah,
Not for us,
So it can
yeah.
go from friend to friend, literally.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they bought it.
Yeah.
And that's happened multiple
It's
times
happened, yeah.
where like the
Yeah.
buyer and the seller
Yeah.
know each other, but
Yeah.
we obviously can't
and know each
disclose
other
the
well also.
information.
Sometimes
Yeah.
I'm like, just ask them if you can borrow it,
Yeah.
but that's against company policy, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay, good. At least you have like rules and
Yeah,
regulations.
yeah.
And although I'm still going to try and get some gossip out of you, come on.
not
What's the
happening.
point of being friends with the people behind the business? What is okay? So I'm going to ask all my questions that I've always wanted to ask. Some of the craziest requests you've gotten.
Oh,
one listing, which was, no, actually, I don't know. Can't say that.
Okay, let's
Even
make it
that
simpler.
I mean,
What's
we
one of the largest items you've had on the thing?
oh, like because
cribs.
it's a lot. Yeah, we
crib
do a
is a
lot of
large,
cribs,
yeah.
and like we ship them nationwide, which is
Yeah.
also initially like, oh my god, how are we going to send this humongous
Yeah.
cot to another city? But now we have
Yeah.
our ways. We
Yeah.
figured out the logistics and everything.
Yeah.
But even like, I feel like a lot of times like some listings are also a bit like, really odd, and you're just like,
Yeah. Like I visited my doctor the other day and he, we were talking about this and he was just like, no, I don't believe that, people actually resell breast pumps. And I'm just like, yeah, they do. And
Yeah.
he's just like, I just don't believe it. Like, I don't believe it. And I'm just like,
Why,
it's
from like
too-
a hygiene perspective?
Yeah,
or
but
like
I mean,
just
like-
he's just like, in our society, I don't believe
yeah,
it.
both, I guess,
Oh.
from both, and hygiene also. But I'm like, honestly, like, sterilize it, use it, sell
yeah,
it. Like,
and with especially with things like breast pumps, you can always just get the whole thing. You can get the machine, but you can buy new spare parts,
Yeah.
right? So that would still be much, much cheaper.
Absolutely.
So I think like we sell a lot of, we actually end up selling a lot of them because it's a great machine to have, and not everyone can afford it. So if you can get it at a cheaper price, why not?
Of course, absolutely. I mean, that's with this economy, we're all struggling,
Of
right?
course.
Like it's something that like our mindset has now changed.
Yes.
Also,
we're
all trying to keep figure out a way around things, and I think this is a brilliant thing that you guys have started, and giving people, especially moms who have that added stress of everything is so expensive, and then taking care of wanting to give their kid the best.
Exactly. That's it.
So, what were the challenges though? Like, because let's talk a little bit about like being like starting a business.
They're not word. They very much exist.
Yeah, they exist.
They
Still
still
exist.
exist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So, what are some of the ones that have like recently popped up? So that like, because they'll be more top of mind.
See, it's a very unique business model, right? So normally marketplaces are the marketplace is not involved with the buyer and the seller. They just like make a platform and they connect them and they communicate with each other. Here we are very much involved. So we personally talk to each client as like ourselves, or the team talks, or there's a human there who's in the mediator basically, and that can get very difficult because people have, and rightly so, the buyers have a lot of questions, because at the end of the day it is a pre-loved product, so they have to ensure that it is going to be worth their money,
right?
And then the sellers also sometimes will hustle for like
a
better deal.
Yeah.
So there is that, and logistics are I mean, we figured it out to some extent, but it is hard to ship these bulky items.
Like that horse that lost its handle, like
and like sometimes things get damaged in during like the courier and stuff, so that like those issues are there.
That's the thing, when you have third party anything, like if you're handling it yourself, then you know how you're doing it, but and the minute you have to involve a third party, and with a business you do, there are multiple different parties that you have to kind of like coordinate.
I think the biggest struggle was also the delivery charges. Like people really think we make those up, but honestly like those are the charges. Like one time we got threatened by somebody saying we're going to shut down your business, we're going to do this because you're charging us X amount for a delivery charge. I mean, like so that was hard. They went and they spammed us all across Instagram, all across the phone. I was actually really scared. And
Bushra being Bushra was very scared.
This has started happening a lot. We have a couple of other friends also who've recently been harassed by clients. And like, I don't understand what's wrong with people. Like, why don't they, like, there's zero empathy there. There's zero, like, you. It's like they think that they're talking to a robot. There's a human being at the other end of that call or at the other end of that screen. So it's really, people need to chill out and just understand that at the end of the day, it's a business. Everyone has their struggles. Everyone, there have been so many times when I've seen in Bushra in the car, on the phone constantly, coordinating and this and that. So many
There's
times.
a lot of, I think for me, the biggest issue is this constant coordination of like, this needs to go here, this needs to go there.
But that's where we make our money, right?
I mean, every business has its challenges, and these are ours.
But you guys have managed to get power through those challenges, and like
to a great extent. We are quite structured from like what we had started.
It's also nice speaking to the client. Sometimes I go and I personally respond because their mom's like asking about postpartum depression, about tips and tricks, about pregnancy, about they see my kids on the page sometimes. So they ask me like, where did you get this from? How did you manage to do that? So that's really nice. Like I like to connect with them, and I mean eventually that's what we wanted to do. Have like a little bit of like a community center connecting moms.
Community is my next. Like I was getting to that. Like
that's a big
how cathartic is it where you're literally embedded into the community. The mums community is A, it's a big community, and B, it's a very integrated community.
Momhood.
The mums talk to each other constantly. That like it's also very easy to advertise within this community because you tell one of them and then the word spreads.
Put it on the groups.
Yeah.
Spam them.
So like, how is it like? What's the response been like? Like, at least from the community that you guys speak to and you guys kind of.
I think it's been great because again, like when we started it and like we started telling our mom friends, like from our own kids, like schools and stuff, they were like everyone's reaction, even like moms I've met who are much older, they're like, oh my god, I have this one thing kept, can I sell it on your page? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So it's like that way the response has been really great because everyone, and who doesn't like to make a quick buck sitting at home, you know?
Of course.
So it's out of their homes, they make some money on it. So it's been great.
Well, it's definitely a great service that you're doing for the community and for everyone around. I mean, I'm not a mom, but I might have some things that I might like put on the website. What next? Like, you guys have built it up now to this extent. You have a website, you have social media. People now have seen your faces, so they're going to come harass you. What's next? How are we going to make this bigger? Any plans?
Yeah, we are, inshallah, hopefully planning on opening a store soon, inshallah. But I mean, we're still working on it. And
more gifting ideas.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So that is on the cards. So let's see how
Very
that pans
cool.
out.
Okay, and then app, and then like
And then our own line,
branch
hopefully.
Yeah, and we want to also then come up with our own product line. Maybe like
Sustainable toys and clothes and, you know.
That's amazing.
Not giving away too much.
That's a lot of work.
it's a lot of work.
Considering you have two kids each.
Yes.
So it's a lot of work and the kids are demanding.
Yeah.
Very.
So how do you manage that? Like, what's an average
You just
work
don't
day?
manage. It's never
You
ends.
just wake up at 7 and then you're basically on the go till they go to bed. And by the time they go to bed, you are so done with life that you become a vegetable.
Do you guys spend any time on like self-care, or like do you switch off at some point? So like, just take some time off for yourself. Because I mean, from 7 or 6 in some cases, as your kids get older, you're going to be waking up earlier. You're constantly on the go. You drop them to school, pick them up. Your work is in between. When do you switch off?
I think it's different for both of us. I mean, like between the two drop-offs, I go to the gym. And once they go to bed on weekdays, I try not to go out because I really enjoy being by myself and watching TV and stuff. That for me is a big part of my self-care. So I try not to make any plans on the weekdays at least. And I feel like that really refuels me. So that's great. During the day, it's very hard to switch off because they are like constantly there is one kid's class or one kid's play date or one kid's something or the other happening.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's tough.
They have more of a social life than we do, honestly.
They
honestly.
do.
With Bushra, I know she has a lot of energy.
Yeah, she does.
A lot. Like,
She does.
She has more energy than all of us put together.
I
And with the
agree.
kids, with work, with everything, man, I commend you guys. Honestly, for mums out there who want to start their own business, who want to maybe figure out a balance, because a lot of people who aren't even mums yet, I know a lot of people over here who are like, how do they do it? Like, I would not be able to balance everything. If I have a kid, then I'm going to just switch off work. But now more and more mums are getting into this whole like balancing life. So what would you say to them?
I think initially starting off with something which is flexible and comfortable and then growing slowly, like that worked for us. I think we started off very slow. We took it slow. In fact, people were like, make it bigger. There are timelines, all of that. But we took it slow and we grew, and, we took time out for the business as we grew because it was motivating, right? Like, we knew that there was potential in it. And I mean, along with taking care of the kids and the pick and the drop, like, I mean, it's important to take care of yourself and do something that you like. So for me, like, I take a lot of help from my husband, from my family, from my friends, from everybody. So if I'm at work, like right now I'm here, my kids are at a play date somewhere. After that, my husband's going to pick them up, take them to a class, like, so we kind of like
manage it
together. So I say that, like, really, really use your your tribe. We're not supposed to do this alone.
100%.
We're supposed to have a whole village. So
Yeah.
get your village and work, and if you can. And I think take it slow and steady and see how it goes.
Where can people find you? Like, I know we keep saying Mama's Marketplace,
Yeah.
but like give them all the details of where they can find you.
So you could find us on Instagram. Our handle is Mama's Marketplace PK, and our website is www.mamasmarketplace.pk. And on our Instagram, you can also find our WhatsApp number, so you can WhatsApp us as well. Thanks.
And one of you will reply.
We will. I'll reply.
Somebody will reply.
Someone will. Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you for
here.
having us.
And
Thanks.
if in the comment section we get a lot of questions, you guys are coming back.
We'd love to.
We'd love to.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For watching us.